Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. And somebody sent me this file and they asked for a little bit of help to see if it would plasma cut. And this would actually help with a laser cutter too. I can already see some things that are wrong. He's saying like the black will be metal. So if the white's not metal, the white is going to fall out, and also the word fire is going to fall out. So we're going to look at I've always made a copy of it. I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to make sure it's a hairline so we go any further. And you can just see that it's not going to work. Like the ladder's not really attached. The bars are not attached. We are going to use these bars, so I'm just going to take the virtual segment delete key and delete through there. And actually, I can see that this one line is not broken, and I need to make sure it is a hairline. But we're going to fix that when we fill it in. So we've got that part done. The ladder needs to be connected, so we're going to grab the ladder. It might be easier just to grab the whole thing and have a real slight nudge and just nudge it over and see there's actually two, and that would kill you if you were a plasma cutter, but we're going to fix that anyway. So that's good. Take the virtual segment delete key and delete through those two lines. That's making and there might be two lines on everything, but when we use the smart fill tool, it'll get rid of that. So we just need to get all the lines away. Let's go ahead and go to the fire department. And he's got it down here at the bottom, but you can see this needs to be, you need spots where the cutter is going to cut. So we're just going to do all that, and make sure you get all these little bitty nibs. And I think why it's not cutting them completely is because there are two lines there. If we look, see there's a whole nother set of lines. Then I'm going to go ahead and delete them because we don't need them. So we'll do the fire hydrant. This just isn't going to work. I am going to suggest that we move this whole thing out of the way and set your duplicate distance on 0, 0. And let's set, this whole thing's only 18 inches, so we'll set our nudge factor back on 5. And we're going to nudge this fire hydrant out of the way. And we're going to use because we really could just use the contour. So they're individual pieces maybe. No, it's already grouped together. No, it's not. So we need to group it together, Control G. And then we're going to go to Effects in Contour, and just contour to the outside. Let's just try 0, 1, and it worked. Now that might be a little bit big, but we're going to go to Object and break Contour apart. And then we can nudge that back over and just kind of see what it looks like. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few things I would watch out for, but I'm going to go ahead and delete these lines, so that's going to hold it into place. For plasma cutting, this is a lot to ask. My suggestion would be to just take that out and take that out. It's still got a good shape. You know, we got some double nodes there and double nodes there. You know, and especially in plasma cutting, the least amount of nodes you have, the better. There's like 2 right on top of each other. And we could do that one of 2 ways, but I would get, you know, these might work, but I'd get rid of that one. And because those are kind of going up, I would go ahead and grab both these nodes and go up to a line and align them horizontally. And you see it put it on the same plane. That's a lot to ask for a plasma cutter, but it might work. But I would take out that node and take out that node. You know, if you have some just straight lines, it should work. So the same thing over here. I would take out that node and that node. That looks pretty good. These are right. Well, when we take out that node, we need to, let's take out this node and then grab both these and align them horizontally again. What that did, it just gave us a good plane. That's a pretty little Inside cut, let's measure it with the parallel dimension tool. You know, that's less. I mean, that's just really small. So what I would do is take these, let's set our nudge factor now with nothing selected. I have to get off this. Let's set our nudge factor on like 0.125, an eighth of an inch. And we could actually do this at one time. Grab this, grab these 4 nodes, and just nudge them up a little bit. That gives the plasma cutter a lot more room. It didn't really take away from anything. We need to clean up, you know, the same thing down here. That would possibly work, but I would take it out and then select both those and right click and turn them into a line. And then we could take these and align them vertically. See what it did? And really, you know, that's probably not necessary there. That little bit of a bump out would be pretty hard on the machine. So then we just need to select those and do these horizontally and also turn them into a line. So let's select them both and right click and turn them into a line. And I think the fire hydrant's pretty good. You know, same thing here. You know, get rid of that node. Maybe you can take those two and right click and turn them into a line. And it's just, you know, that's a lot to ask. So I'm going to delete that, take those 2 nodes and align them horizontally. And now you see what it did. It gave us a little bit of a line. So we can just delete. Whoop, we weren't quite there. I could kind of tell. So I'm going to take that and move it over. Then when we take the virtual segment delete key, it'll delete that. And don't worry about the nodes aren't sealed up. We're going to fix that. When we're done, now we're going to take the word. Now I would get rid of this fire hydrant. And let's do the fire department. We've already done the other lines. I would take this and just kind of stretch it up a little bit. Now, you could probably weld this. By the time you figure it out, it'd almost be easier just to take the smart fill tool. And this probably, okay, this is still a text, so we need to go to object and break the text apart. Well, actually, let's just back up. We don't have to do that. Go to object and convert it to a curve. And this isn't the best font for plasma cutting. I would maybe even pick another font. A little bit bolder. Because see, it's going to be kind of hard to read that T. But you'll get the idea. The bottom's always going to look better because there's just so many little facets. That doesn't look too bad when we fill it in. I would look a little closer right here. And I would always probably take the curved line. That needs to be gone. You just need to think about the smart fill tool when it's working. So we'll go and go now to the fire department, do the same thing. Take the word and just, I think I grabbed. See, it's hard to grab sometimes. Let's just stretch the word. Stretch it down. And you just need to barely have it touch. So let's set our nudge factor on something low, 0.01. Grab the fire word again, and just nudge it down a little bit. We could actually probably make this shorter, or you could make it shorter here with your, unlock your ratio and make it like 1.65. And it just made it almost gonna be a little bit more readable. And then take these lines away. You're just thinking about making it easier for the plasma cutter to get in there. You kind of got to use your imagination. Whoop, where the, you know, when it cuts, what's it going to look like? And then at the bottom, and this, if we would have done this from the start, the weld tool would have made a lot quicker work than this. It's just that you had so many things going on. And I see another little problem right below me, right below the cutter that needs to be corrected. Whoop. And when you're doing this for real, you're gonna wanna zoom in and look at all those. And then when we get this done, see, like right here, that needs to be corrected. So that'll all be one piece of metal. We'll go ahead and finish the project. I think he's got the idea now. But see, like right here, that isn't gonna work. So I would take my nodes, and for some reason it's like two different lines, grab them all. You can hold down the control button to make it go evenly. See, there's two sets of lines there. That's not gonna matter when we smart fill it, because the smart fill will get rid of all those lines. But I would do, I'd work on one end and then work on the other end. And that's what's happening. It's just too many, there's so many lines doubled up. One more, and then we do the word Perry. I just helped this gentleman write this Perry the other day. So then, grab the Perry, and we need to stretch him a little bit. And see, there's two sets, so delete one. Come in here and grab, whoop. That's the only thing hard about grabbing sometimes. You gotta go way over here. And I got rid of the Y. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back, and we're just gonna leave the double line because the Y was already gone from that one part. So let's just stretch it out, stretch this out, and see if we can't grab this one. See, there's like three sets of lines there. It'd almost be easier to type out the word Perry again. So let's just do that. Just hit delete. And we missed our bar, we messed up our bar, but very easily just take a 2-point line and go from that node to that node. And I can just see there's another, double line because that's a little bit thicker. So we're just gonna type out the word Perry again. And since he's using that font, I'm gonna go ahead and just use it. It's probably Times New Roman. And you can always just start typing in Times. And I'd actually go ahead and go bold. And a lot of times Corel do that. You have to click all those and click back on it. And then left click, right click, and go ahead and turn it into a curve. And we need to make it quite a bit smaller. When you have that many lines, it's just better just to kind of like punt and start over. But once again, I wouldn't, Times New Roman, it has too many sharp points. I would use a impact, or I'm pretty close to the middle, so I'm gonna leave it. And there is a way to weld this, but we're so far into it now. And you can see now that the lines are cutting away quicker. It's because there's just one set of lines. And just remember, text won't cut. So if you ever have a font that won't cut, you need to do this. And then we need to do that. I think I'm gonna have to look at that. Yeah, we need to bring that. So originally I was gonna help him do this, and we had this separated, but bring this down. See, there's another set of lines, but we're not gonna worry about it because we're just gonna cut through this, and we're gonna use the Smart Fill tool to fill all this in. If it worked, as always, I would take a rectangle, put a rectangle around he's drawing in black, and then take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. We got some leaks up top, right in here somewhere, probably pretty easily fixed. What you can do to test that is take a 2-point line and then take the Smart Fill tool, and that's not leaking. There's the leak from there on. So it might even be, let's back up here. It might even be right here at these joints. Well, there's something going on right there. But that line needs to be there, but he's got like a double line there. So what we can do, click off your item and click that line and hit delete. Now we can just draw a new line there. Sorry. Take a 2-point line go from node to node. Of course, we're messed up here, but I'm just gonna fix it real quick with, stretching nodes. You wouldn't probably wanna do this. And he also draws in black, and I like drawing in red. Let's just bring those up. I would probably not do this in a real situation. You know what? I'm gonna back completely up because of the fact that he really needs to use another font anyway, and I'm just gonna kind of show him. I hate my videos getting this long because people lose interest and quit watching. But let's make, so this is not a font anymore, so let's back it up till it is a font. And there it is, Times New Roman. Let's try, even Arial would be better. Arial is like a lot cleaner font. You can go Arial black and see the difference. It's just a lot smoother font. It doesn't have those indentions. So what we're going to do this time to make sure, we're going to go ahead and fix this and take our lines. And you know what? It's the double lines that are causing us the problem when it leaks. There's just too many double lines. I'm going to hit delete, and by doing that, we messed up our drawing. And see, that's just a thicker line. I can just see it. There's still another line there. Okay, got rid of the last line. Now let's take a 2-point line again. Go from that node to that node. Make sure these lines are touching. And I think we got some double nodes on the bottom. I can just see the thickness of the line. After you use Corel a little while, you'll see how you can, and we need to cut that away anyway too. I'd cut it all the way to there. See there, we actually had a ripple effect. Now, let's put our rectangle back around it, and before we even put our word in there, that would irritate me. Take our Smart Fill tool and fill that in, and we're good to go, except for we had a leak somewhere up in here. Probably easily fixed. Right there. This line wasn't crossed. Corel will find leaks, but that's why I put a rectangle around it. That way it doesn't leak everywhere, and we're good to go. So I would go back and now put the word period. Of course, if you were going to do this, I would start all over and use this font on all of them. You could still keep that pretty P there, and I didn't even see if we're in the middle yet. But it's still a font, so I'm gonna go to object and convert it to a curve, and then we should be good to go. See how much quicker it cuts it? You just need to be, think about that, what's metal and what's not metal, and then definitely use the Smart Fill tool to fill stuff in. And when you fill stuff in, it creates a new object, and the new object is a lot better. Smart Fill tool, fill that in, we're good to go. Now take the Smart Fill tool shape and left click, right click, and make sure it's a hairline. Now, the biggest thing you can do in plasma cutting is cut everything else away. Put this in the center of the page. I'm proud of him for having a 48 by 48 page. And then hit F4 to make sure there's nothing else on the page. We're missing something right there. That's a little bit irritating. Because I missed this line right here. So what we can do to fix that, just an easy fix, take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in, make a duplicate of it, and we're going to actually move it over, and left click, right click in red, make sure it's a hairline, if you're gonna do a lot of plasma cutting, you're gonna find out, you're gonna wanna draw in hairline and then just mimic that and just kinda put it right in there. Then take away the color from there. Now I made it black, and I would do some testing and then smart fill this to see if we've got it done. And we do. Now take your smart fill away, left click, right click, make sure it's a hairline. And I think the reason that's happening, because he specified a half point, so specify no outline when you're filling in with the smart fill tool. Now I would double check that one piece that I just kind of put over there. I'm gonna hit F4 to make sure that's the only thing. I would kind of, really look at this piece I just kind of haphazardly put over there and see it's that much taller. And you'd have to go to object and break the curve apart to move any of these pieces. And let's see what our nudge factor is. Pretty low. Just nudge that down to that line. And you should be good to go. Only other thing I would check would be for nodes. And if you've got a lot of nodes, so what you can do to find out that is select everything and then hit the shape tool. It's not that bad. The ladder has a lot, but I would clean it up personally. You'll get a lot better cut. Look at that. We don't need those two nodes. We don't need that at all. Take these two nodes and right click and turn them into a line. And take these three nodes. Just kind of clean it up a little bit, because you'll be a lot better off. Anyway, I hope that helps him a little bit. Thank you for watching.